Hello everybody, welcome to Adobe Live. We would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we are creating and streaming from today. We'd also like to pay our respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Thank you for joining us. My name is Flynn, and I'm joined by Jeremy Mura. Jeremy, how you doing?
Hey mate, good to see you again.
You too, you too. We had a good time on Tuesday going through branding and packaging, and now we're going to take some of those packaging things and apply them to mock-ups. You can follow along. There was lots of fantastic tips. Keep a very close eye on Jeremy and his shortcuts. He's one of the most efficient, Adobe Creative Cloud users I've seen that we've had on the show. So I might stop things and just say, hey, how did you do that? That was very, very quick. So I'm sure we're in for a little bit more of that. But yeah, thanks for joining us again, Jeremy.
Cool, man. Yeah, 100%. I love doing design, and hopefully I got a few shortcuts up my sleeve, man.
I think you don't know like some of the really good stuff you do because you do it quite instinctually, and then sometimes I'm like, hey, how'd you do that?
Totally.
Welcome chat as well, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on Behance. If you're watching live, you can ask questions. You can just say hi as well, which is always cool. Like Elizabeth and Alex in chat on Behance, it's great to have you with us. And yeah, if you're on YouTube, we'll try to keep an eye on that one as well. The main chat we use is Behance. We'll definitely see your questions and comments there. If you're only on YouTube, that's fine too. I just might be a bit delayed flicking through tabs. So packaging, maybe we'll start off with a bit of a recap on what we did on Tuesday and then kind of flow into today. So I'm going to share your screen, Jeremy, if you're up for that.
Yep, let's do it.
All right, soda pops.
So this is what we had done the other day. So we did a basic design in Illustrator, did the logo. We worked on this, as you can see here, using a bold font, really going for that friendly kid theme, trying to aim it at the younger generation. So we came up with these super pops and then took it into Photoshop and started adding some, make it more realistic, adding some details with these fruits and added some clouds and stuff with logo there. And now we're going to throw it on a mock-up and make it look real. So yeah.
Awesome. That's super cool. I love those clouds that you've thrown in there. They're pretty cool.
Make it more fun. Yeah. I was just trying to make it interesting, make it more fun, and yeah. Cool. So obviously I could go in here and add some like shadows and add little details. One of the things that I like to do as well before I chuck it on a mock-up is I typically do camera raw filter. So basically I'll press Control-Shift-Alt-E and that will condense all my Photoshop layers into like one layer at the top, as you can see there. And so I'll go to Filter, Camera Raw.
It was Control-Shift-Alt-E, was it?
Yes. So basically, yeah, it condenses all your layers and merges them all together.
Right. So, without like, does it merge everything and then you have to undo it or something like that, or it creates a whole new layer with everything on it?
Yeah, it merges it into a new layer by itself. So it doesn't delete any of the other layers, which is good. Yeah, so that's a little Photoshop shortcut. So I'm in Camera Raw, and what I like to do, let's just say this is the final design. What I can do is actually start to make it more detailed a bit. So what I like to do is bump up the texture. So you can see it starts to add just like the texture pops a bit more, right? So I'll put the texture, the clarity, I'll bump that up a little bit. I like to play with the contrast as well, as you can see. So contrast, I'll make that pop. I think the exposure, I'll probably leave it or decrease it a tiny bit. I'll drop the highlights a bit. Play around with the blacks. Let's see how, so if I either want it like heaps contrasty or not. So maybe bring the blacks a little bit. Then I would play around with the saturation, the vibrance. So typically I bump the vibrance up like maybe 5, and then saturation, I'll play with that. Obviously you don't want to go too much because then it will just be muddy. So, and you don't want to be too desaturated. So for this, I might put it to like 8, right? And so we can press Q and you can see the before. So it just pops a lot more.
Yeah, for sure. And because we were talking quite a bit about the difference between like packaging and other bits of design as well. Like if this is going to be if it's intended to be on a shelf, you want it to be quite vibrant, you have the colors kind of pop out and things like that. Yeah,
totally.
Cool.
So basically that's what I'll do. And then so from this, I downloaded a paper box mockup. So I double click this and I open this. So we're going to chuck the designs on here. And so once you double click on one of these layers, this is from Yellow Images. So if I just quickly go to Yellow Images for a second, you can see I searched up paper box, and they've got all these beautiful boxes here.
Nice.
So much cool stuff, right? Great for packaging, great for anyone in different industries, you know, whether it's like, you know, coffee or, you know, food and beverage, basically anything. So super high quality. Now, all I got to do now is just go to Photoshop, jump into my layers and copy that layer that I had, and I'm going to paste it in. And what I did was I already used the same size from the box and put it into this. So you can press Control Alt C. If you're on a Mac, it'll be Command Option C, and you want to change the same width and height, the pixels or the centimeters, whatever it is, to the same size of this of the box here. Okay, and so that's going to save you time scaling it up and down, and just makes it fit really nice. Okay, so now if I press Control S, it's going to save this file and it's going to add it to the box there.
Wow, that was easy.
Yeah, so it does it for you very fast, which is super cool. And so what if I wanted to like add the background? So I've got the white background. I'm going to double click. And so it automatically selects the eyedropper. So what I like to do is just click on the color of the box, right? So I can potentially pick any of these colors from the box. So I'm sampling, and you know, it already starts to pop. So I think maybe that dark blue looks good. I'm going to press that, and it's already got a shadow, which is really cool. And now I want to add the side panel. So I'm going to go back to Illustrator this time. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw some text here and say Super Pops super high on sugar.
Nothing like getting your kids super high on sugar.
Yeah, makes them hyperactive, right?
Yeah, absolutely. My kid didn't have any sugar, pretty much virtually had no sugar for like the first 2.5 years of her life. And now she loves it, and I don't know if it was a good idea to like keep her away from it for so long, because now she absolutely loves it. So I don't know.
That's amazing. Yeah, you gotta, I don't know, I try and stay away from soft drinks and juice, but at the moment we're just giving our kid water for now because she's too young. So
yeah.
So I'm just gonna throw some text like this. You can even potentially put like an image maybe of the founder. Let's just say I'm the founder. So I could just like chuck in an image.
Can make like Jeremy Pops or something.
Yeah, Jeremy Pops or whatever. I'll quickly make a background. So it's good to look at the founder or something like that.
It's much more common these days, isn't it? Like, you know, from like to have the personality of like, especially if it's a small business or something, to like have the founder like front and center and part of the brand.
Yes, people want to connect with the creator, the designer. You know, it's the same thing as like people want to know. It's like when people buy stuff from farmers, they want to know where it's from, right? Farm to table, farm to fresh, so they get that you know, vibe. I think it's super cool. So let's just say we got that. Now what I'm going to do is select all this. Let me just get my layers. I'm going to select this, copy, go back to Photoshop now. Now I'll go to the box. And no, not this one. So I'm going to go on the side, and you can see the side design. And the reason why I like buying premium mockups is it's already done it for me. So I can double click on the smart object layer. It will open the smart object into a separate file. I'm going to paste as a smart object. You can see because the size in Illustrator wasn't the same size, I got to scale it up, right? So I'm going to hold Shift, Alt, scale from the corner, and then I'm basically just going to drop it in there. And because it's a smart object, it shouldn't pixelate. So if I press enter, so you can see nothing's pixelated.
Yeah, that's what I was going to kind of chat about then as well. because it was a smart object, you can scale as much as you want and you're not stretching the pixels, which is great.
Exactly. So now you can see we've got that on the side. It's looking way more realistic, and we've got the box there. And basically, you could finish it off there. You could add more details. We can add texture to the background if you wanted. I was playing around with the idea of having like the beach, like, because it's like sort of summery a bit. So for example, where is the stuff? Yeah. So I had an umbrella. So let's bring this over here. I had an umbrella and I had some sand. So what I can do is I can scale this. And let's try and see if we can make that box feel like it's in the sand a bit. So I've got this umbrella here. Now what I can do is go to the hue and saturation, and I'm going to hold Alt, and you can see on my layers on the right hand side, you can see you want to put it in between the hue saturation and the umbrella layer. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to change the umbrella color to a different color. So maybe I want to go for the blue, or orange, or maybe I want to stick to sort of one of these colors here. So let's go for like that red color. I'll drop the saturation down a little bit. And so what I'm going to do is go to the layer mask on the umbrella. What you can do is get your brush, and so you can just you can paint like this, right? All I'm doing is hiding that umbrella, so it's going to look like it's behind this little hill there, as you can see. So it makes a major difference there. So I've got that. And so we've got the box here as well. And we can see I like this because I can turn off the highlights and the shadows of the box if I want to make it a bit different.
You're making me want it to be summer here.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting. I love summer. I just want to eat mangoes and stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm bringing the sand behind that, and let's see. Let's move the box maybe a little bit down, for example. Maybe you want to scale it.
And again, you can scale everything because it's a smart object, right? If it wasn't a smart object, you'd be a bit, you might be stretching pixels and things like that.
Yeah, correct. So then what I want to do, I just want to find the little hill here, right? So I can. And so all I'm doing is hiding and revealing. So I can press Shift X, and it's going to switch from white to black on my fill and color on the left, as you can see. So this is just one way of making things look a bit more realistic or fun, or like it could be for an ad or something, or a campaign. If I zoom out, you can see it looks like it's like digging into the sand there, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's great.
And so maybe I wanted to add some texture. I'll go to my design library. We'll go to some textures, and let's see if we can find something. Let's see if we can grab one of these ones. Wonder if there's a concrete. Let's drag this. So I'm just dragging a PNG. It sort of looks like a marble type of thing. Usually we use that for premium, but I'm just showing like an example. And so what I'll do is I drop it to multiply, and then I'll drop the opacity maybe like 25%, or let's go 10%. I add a bit of texture because it's like heavy like on the black like it's the feel is really strong.
Hmm.
Sometimes I can add a mask here, and I can hide, like just paint and like make it a little bit faded, right?
Nice. Makes the packaging like pop out a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Is good. So we've got some packaging there. Now, what if we wanted to like maybe add it on, I don't know, like a sticker or something else?
Mm.
I'm thinking what some other packaging would be. Like a pod stand or something. Pod stand.
Oh, yeah, so point of sale.
Yes.
Yeah. So this free pick website is one of the ones that you showed on Tuesday as well. I think the other one was the Avato one. So if anyone's out there looking for resources to find like premium, versions of these, because everyone's done it, right? Like you kind of Google for a long time to try to find a free one to use, and then you download it, and it's most of the time it's not set up as well as a lot of these premium ones are, which Jeremy was showing before, and you can just kind of end up wasting a lot of time.
Yeah, basically.
You can find them, but they can be very difficult to find.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful as well, because if it's free, it might not be okay to put in your portfolio, because maybe someone's leaked it out, or maybe someone's downloaded it and then shared it, and then you actually don't have permission to use it because it's someone else's work. So you do have to be a bit careful about what you find. It's like finding a song for free online and using it like someone created that. If you don't have express permission, you do have to be a bit careful. If you're a student, you can kind of get away with it, but once you become a professional, can be a bit dodgy. And the other thing is, you can see a lot of the same mock-ups in a lot of people's portfolios, so you do need to kind of look around. I think this is years ago. I always show my age with Jeremy, I don't know why. Years ago, and there was like, when those like fabric banners first kind of came in. This is a long time ago, but City of Sydney had all these banners installed, and they were used for everything. So whenever there was Christmas or Easter or Vivid or any event, basically brands would take over the entire, or the council, whoever it was, would take over, Tourism Australia maybe, would take over the entire city, and they would all be the same banner, and someone photographed them and made these beautiful mock-ups and made it free. And then for the next like 5 years, every campaign by brand agency in Australia had the same mock-ups, same 5 mock-ups of the exact same thing. And it gets a bit repetitive, and you sort of see it and you think, oh, okay, yeah, I've seen that many times before.
That's why I always try and avoid free mocks, because you get that the same problem,
Yeah, exactly. Great question from Elizabeth. Do you ever make your own mock-ups?
I actually have a mock-up generator pack I made ages ago. But that was for a product. I just don't see that. It's just too time consuming, to be honest. I'd rather just buy it off someone who like does it for a living, like that's their main thing, to save me time, really. Yeah. But if you're a student, I think it's a good way to actually learn how people make it, like by just trying, like making it yourself. Once you become a bit more like getting more clients, you got to save some time. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We did a stream, it was probably years ago now, about creating your own mock-ups. I think it was 4 hours it took us to get it right, like the amount of detail to go in to create it, because you're not just creating a mock-up for one particular thing, you're creating it so that someone else in the studio can use it quickly as a template for multiple projects. So yeah, it was a lot more involved than I thought it was. It definitely took a lot of time.
Yeah, totally.
I've got another question for you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Elizabeth has noticed that you have a lot of informational slide decks on your Insta. Do you have any favorites? And follow-up question, what's the best thing you've learned on your journey of brand identity?
So do I have any favorites on my slide decks? I'd say I think, I don't know, I've done so many carousels and stuff over the past like 3 years, so I don't really have a a favorite. I think the ones where you see like the sculptures or the nice cover design, like I think playing around with those 3D objects, I love those ones. Or some of the typography ones, like my my favorite fonts or my 7 tips for good typography would be good.
Cool.
And the second part of the question is the greatest thing I've probably learned about brand identity is actually learning how to be objective and have a process. So when I first started out as a designer, I was not using a process. I wouldn't get on calls. I would just send things over email. I'll end up just doing the magic reveal, and so then I'll get stuck in a feedback loop with the clients. And so I would get frustrated, and the budgets were low and stuff like that. So for me, learning how to develop my own process through taking courses and books and learning from others and adapting it to my own style, that really helped to me, make sure that every time I work with the client, I'm objective, I'm hitting the goals, there's less revisions, and we're really more focused on about being objective. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point. And adapting it to yourself, I think, was also a really interesting point that you said then. Because it's great to get advice from someone in this field or in your field or in another field or anything. But yeah, making it your own and taking the bits that work for you and leaving the bits that don't, and picking and choosing from lots of different people and discovering your own processes and that match with your personality and your style and the type of clients you have is really valuable. It comes from experience.
Yeah, totally. I'm always learning, I'm always learning my process, updating things, and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yes, we're all learning for sure. How much time do you think you give yourself to work on social media things rather than clients? Do you have a percentage, or is it just when you can find the time?
I think for me, I prioritize my clients because I want to make sure that I build rapport and have a good experience for them. But usually Mondays and Fridays, I work on content. And if I've got, and in the week, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I focus on client work. But if it's not design work, I'm actually working on like doing collabs, content, paid sponsored content, or working on my YouTube videos.
Right.
So definitely at least 2 days a week for content, to be honest. Because like if I stop, then sort of reach goes down and subscribers and all that stuff. So I've got to make sure that I'm always on the ball with that,
Yeah, that's the double-edged sword of it, isn't it? Like once you achieve growth, then you kind of have to keep feeding it all the time.
Feed the beast.
And, yeah, feed the beast. And if you miss a week or two, it's really hard to catch back up too. Like kind of feel like you've fallen so far behind, even psychologically.
The habits. It's all about the habits, Yeah.
And got a follow-up question. So yeah, if anyone has questions, feel free to throw them in chat, just like Elizabeth has. These are great. Thank you. Do your clients ever find you through social media?
Oh, all the time. I get most of my clients through Instagram and YouTube, actually. So
yeah,
it's a real thing. For me, it's worked. It's been great. Investing in video and investing in content, and that's one of my best way of getting clients. So yeah, I recommend any designer do it. Building a personal brand and building it is actually worth it in the long run if you're consistent.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because like a lot of your content is around teaching designers how to be better designers. So you could think, oh well, maybe you're not getting a lot of clients from that, but you still are. And I think, do you think it's because it kind of puts you in like a bit of a leadership kind of position?
Yeah, people see you as the authority. So if they say, oh, he's teaching other designers, he knows what he's talking about. So it builds you as an authority, and so that's why you just teach what you know, like whatever level you're at, you just teach, and you go from there. Yeah, so people think it's just like, oh, I'm just going to attract designers, but in reality, you attract both designers and clients, so it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, that's great. And for those who are just joining us, so we're in part 2 of our 2-part series here with Jeremy Mura, and we're focusing on packaging. So on Tuesday, we created, well, I sat here and asked questions and interrupted Jeremy, but Jeremy created a brand called Soda Pops. It's kind of aimed at families, you know, you're kind of aiming at parents, you're also aiming at kids, of course. You know, supermarket kind of point of sale, stuff like that. So there's a bit of branding done around like the initial kind of core packaging, and then today we're focusing on mock-up. So if there's a particular mock-up that you might want to see, maybe we could even take some suggestions as we're rolling through. But yeah, this is all around kind of mocking up your work and making it look, you know, realistic for your portfolio. So for your clients, when you're presenting, but also, yeah, for your portfolio. Because without doing the mock-up, it's not really packaging, right? Like it's kind of a flat kind of JPEG. And we don't like that. We don't want that. We want it to look professional.
Yeah.
Want it to look like an agency website, right? Like we want it to look like as real as possible. So that's what we're up to today.
The thing, and it's good to remember that clients don't really have, not all clients have a creative mind. They can't visualize things.
Yeah.
So that's why we need to mock things up in a realistic way that's relevant to the actual project. And you'll see the difference. Like clients will actually be like, "Oh, I get that. Like it makes sense," and like it will just work a lot better, you know?
Yeah. It's the old adage of "show me, don't tell me."
Exactly. So what I'm doing, I'm making a hue saturation layer for the background, because there's no separate background layer. Usually there is for some mockups. So this is the thing, some mockups you'd have to like customize it. So what I'm trying to do now is like change the color. There we go. As you can see, you could leave it gray if you want, but you know, if I just make it a bit towards that blue that I had, yeah, it just looks a bit more realistic there. Makes it look fun. Cool, got that. So now I'm gonna try and there's a bit of text. Okay, get rid of that. Double click to replace glass. Double click to replace top. So I want to try and put a box inside the fridge.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
We'll see how we're gonna do that. That's why I bought the box here. I just need to this.
So just bringing back. So this is from the original mock-up where you erase some of it to make it look like it was sitting in the sand.
Yeah,
that's cool. You can just bring it back. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. So we can use that element, you know, reuse this element, you know. I'm just cleaning it up a bit because it had the sand on it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse it. I'll just leave it like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to go to edit, transform, and you're going to flip horizontal like that.
Right.
Because the fridge, or I could flip the fridge as well. Like, I could do it that way. Actually, maybe I should flip the fridge instead. Is
the text going to read backwards? Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends which one you want to change.
Yeah. Actually, I'll flip the box. I think that would be a bit easier. There we go. Edit, transform, flip. Scale that down. I remember when I did packaging, I had my director used to sort of do stuff like this. They just quickly mock it up in the fridge. Like I've seen presentations like that. I'm gonna drop the opacity down because it's like we have to make it look like it's behind the glass a little bit. So I might just drop the opacity down. And then I'm going to just go into the layer mask, and then I'm just gonna quickly paint this. Try and make it as clean as possible, but you know. When you zoom out, you can see like it looks like it's inside the thing.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And so you just duplicate. Pressing Control J to duplicate that layer, and then just holding Shift and then mouse click, dragging it across like that. Then I can group these, Control G, group all these boxes, and I call it box. And then I can add a vector mask to that, and then I can just use the lasso tool, and I'm just gonna, I think, just clean up this. Oops. Oh no, I think it's glitching. Oh no. Oh, it was glitching. Sorry. Okay.
That's right. It's always Murphy's Law of streaming.
As long as the computer doesn't crash, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, see, I cleaned it up. See how it was a bit sticking out before? The
Yeah.
pixel? And so
Yeah, it
now,
looks much better, doesn't it?
yeah, looks like it's clean. Clean this up as well. Hopefully this this is helpful for people.
Yeah, this is cool. It's a great way. This is a great way to do it. Elizabeth was mentioning selection mask in when you're going through this process. Yeah, there's a couple of different ways that you could definitely do it. So that's a great thing about Photoshop. There's always so many different ways to do things.
Correct. And there's no wrong or right way. Just whatever's the fastest for you, really. Okay, cool. So I think this one needs to be behind the front one. Yeah, I think that will work. Cool. And so then what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna Control J, boxes, hold Shift, and like then drag it down. And I might have to like rotate it a little bit.
It's like the perspective of the mock-up isn't exactly horizontal because of the way that the angle is.
Correct. And so this could be like a fridge, maybe at like a local meat shop or cafe, or obviously it doesn't always have to be in Coles or Woolies. So like, just got to imagine like potential stuff. Cool. And then duplicate that again, drag it.
This reminds me of like milk bars or something like that, like a corner shop or something.
Yeah, exactly. Got the picture in mind. So now we zoom out, and now you can see, okay, cool, super pops. Like, looks kind of good. Looks realistic just by tracking it on a mock-up. So if there's another mock-up you guys want to do, you can, suggestions in the comments would be cool.
Yeah, throw it in. I'll try to think of one as well. What's like another version that we could do? Trying to think of supermarkets.
Could think of like a signage or something like that. Oh, that's a I'm gonna look for a like a hanging sign. And that's the thing. A lot of time needs to go into like looking for mock-ups. Like sometimes clients don't. They think it's already like everything's done for you, but it's not. Oh, we've got an airport one there. That's kind of cool. What if I say supermarket sign?
I mean, there's also like mocking it up like one, like that isometric kind of view where it's like multiplied kind of off the page. If you know
Like
what I mean. So
like
it's almost like,
floating.
yeah, it's almost like, you know, making a pattern or floating. Floating's kind
Oh,
of
the
cool.
pattern. Oh, wait, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Um,
So it looks like you've laid them out and it's in a studio and you've kind of taken a studio shot.
Yep, I got you.
That's an option.
Yeah, I had this one. Just gonna extract that mock-up.
So see, this is kind of like a portfolio trend, I would say. See it a lot in branding as well, like just to kind of make it seem like it kind of flows off infinitely into the like isometric distance. It's like creating a pattern with your logo or something like that, and multiplying it lots of times. It can look really, really nice, especially if you like create a pattern out of it. You can just apply it to anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to probably I could probably find one. If I go isometric box, instead of making it myself, I'll just search up isometric box. Isometric box mock. PSD.
I bet we'll find one. There's got to be one.
Yeah, I have business card ones, but
there's almost one there. Like that's not it, but just for illustrative purposes, just say what I'm talking about. So like for the visual learners out there, you can see a couple of examples there. That's a perfect example, right? So this is one design, one package. They've changed the colors a couple of times, but then multiplied it out, so it looks like there's a big family. So it gives you kind of that sense of like volume, I think, for something that, well, this is going to be printed, you know, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of these things or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look, you can see heaps of different examples there.
Yeah, we're getting, we got closer. So there's heaps of different ones here. Yeah, it makes a difference. As you said, I think it's good, like for packaging, like it shows how does it look together in a family, like together in a group, you know. And then obviously, like you can make one yourself. If I put the shadow back, shadows too, on this one it's too much. So if I just group this and then control like J, all of that, you can just like. Rotating a little bit. I'm rotating optically.
We're doing it by eye on the fly, so if it's not perfectly lined up during, you know, we've got 15 minutes left.
Oh, wow.
I know. You're forgiven, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Just getting the general idea is usually what we go for here on Adobe Live, because we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for the beginners out there, it's gonna take you like hours and hours, guys. So. Right, so if I go to design and actually I should have duplicated, I should have put the design first and then, anyway, it doesn't matter. Paste it, and then I'm gonna scale it down like this. Control S to save it. Okay, oh, I see what they did.
Oh, they've got the guides there for what the dimensions of the box are?
Correct. So what I'm gonna, it's not gonna fit, so what I'd have to do, and that's the thing, you gotta like really find the right mockups. So if I go this and go, a cool thing you can do is go edit fill or content aware fill. And so it's going to pull elements, and then, so if I just go order sample, if I go okay, let's see what it's going to do. So you can see it like already added, it took some of the icons which I didn't want. So what I can do is I'll just do the background.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you isolate the background, maybe it'll...
Yeah, I'll try that and see how it looks.
You're a risk taker doing that live on stream, just seeing what happens with like vector art for packaging, using content aware fill tool. That's great.
Risky business.
Yeah. You never know what's going to happen with AI.
I know, that's the thing. I'll just leave it. And then the bottom.
So just explain, let's just explain what's happening here, just in case anyone's kind of struggling to understand how we're flipping from one to the other. So there's a so within this template, once you click through, it'll open a new Photoshop file, and then you can drop your flat artwork into that file, save it, and then when you go back over, it'll refresh, so they talk to each other. So it's like a linked file. So it makes it a lot easier to kind of line it up using the template and try to get the dimensions right, and then flicking over to the other one. And of course, if you need to like change a color or change the artwork or something like that, you can always jump into that other file, make the change, and then it'll automatically apply to all of those different things. You don't have to manually do each one each time. So a huge time saver, and great for like when you're working with clients and things like that as well. You get to final presentation, everything's been sent off, and they say, oh, can you just change the color on this and that? It is a very easy small change now, but if you manually had different assets and you didn't build it in this way, or you didn't use a template that worked this way, you'll be kicking yourself, because that small color change, you know, may mean a lot of time.
Well said, well said. I'm just adding some texture in the background. Whoops, let's bring it down. Maybe it looks like they're on some concrete or something. And I'll try that content if that thing one more time.
Let's try it again. So content aware as well. I'll just throw it out. I'll just throw some explanation in while we're playing around. I think it came out last year, maybe Max last year. Adobe Max coming up, by the way. Make sure you register, everybody. Lots of good stuff coming up. I might be biased. So yeah, I mean, it's really like kind of got that, like, you know, it's hard in photography, I think. So like being able to content aware fill stuff, so you're not manually doing it. So it's using the AI. So pretty interestingly, like, I don't understand the tech in too much detail, but it actually talks to Adobe Sensei, which is what Adobe calls the AI or machine learning that is being used. So it's actually not happening on your computer. It's actually talking to AI through the internet. And then coming back and doing it, and it's all kind of happening in real time. So that slight delay is it going over probably somewhere in San Jose, or maybe a server here, I don't know. I don't know if there's multiple instances or whatever, but that's what's happening. It's pretty crazy. So, and it uses that, much more powerful, much clever computer and machine learning to guess based on the information that you've kind of put in, what you're trying to get out. So it's pretty interesting. It's worth playing around with. There's some really interesting applications happening with that sort of stuff. Elizabeth is correcting me. So it was Feb 2020 release. Wow, has it really been around that long? Wow, I thought it was a Max announcement.
Wow.
It's a long time, actually.
Yeah. There you go. That's what sort of, and I can add the sides and stuff, I think. But that's a general idea you want to do, like when it's this type of mock. Where is the... copy, and I'm going to paste this into, so I've gone back to this one, and I'm just going to and you can see there on the side, that's pretty cool. And the bottom, can always chuck some icons like for a recycling icon or something.
So we have a question from chat. It's the same. We actually had this question earlier, so I'm happy to answer it. So question is, do you ever create your own mockups from scratch, or do you like to use Envato elements? So Jeremy let us know before that he has created them in the past, but it's very time consuming. So yeah, it's all down to efficiency, right? So you can create them yourself, of course. I also mentioned that we did a stream on how to create your own mockups. It was and this was just for a poster. So like, of course it's in a 3D space, but it was to do a giant billboard poster, and creating the mockup in a way that you have this Photoshop file that could be passed around the studio. That was kind of the brief that we did. And yeah, that was 4 hours. And that was lots of finicky work, trying to get everything right. But yeah, there we go.
4 hours. Oh man.
Well, that was a 4-hour stream. I don't even know if there was stuff done in between then, but I mean, it looked great. It looked really cool. Some really great tips and things like that in there. But about halfway through, I was kind of getting lost. I'm like, man, there's a lot. There's a lot going on here to try to get the light and the shadow right, and experimenting with putting different colors, different colored posters in, different things in. How can you make it so on the other end it takes the least amount of time and the least amount of tweaks? It's kind of like maybe if a senior designer was setting something up for maybe a junior or a freelancer, someone, so that it's like, hey, here are the assets, you can just throw it in and it'll work. So it wasn't so much creating it for yourself, maybe someone that's really experienced that knows, how to kind of tweak things to make it look perfect.
Yeah. I'm just doing a sticker now for fun.
Yeah. Stickers are great.
Why not? Stickers are fun. Maybe, I don't know if you guys know, when Coles or Woolies have a campaign and they give little stickers to kids and stuff, that's what I think of when I think of stickers. Or it could just be for promo stuff. That's pretty cool.
I like this one. That's textured, almost felt sticker. When you zoomed in on that one, it's really cool.
Yeah, look at that. It's pretty cool.
That's great. It's great that you can get that just from your vector artwork, right? You just put your logo on there and it has that texture.
Yeah, 100%. I downloaded this, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I actually used it on another client project. What I did, I chucked it on the back of a laptop.
Right.
So it looked how people stick stickers on laptops, and so I put the logo, and it just made it look real. It was cool. Photoshop. I'm just constantly going back and forth to Illustrator, other Photoshop files, and just putting all the same assets basically. See, if you had copywriting and other text and stuff, you could totally do that, or different versions of the logo. That's doable as well.
And this is the thing, right? There were kind of two goals of this stream that we really wanted to kind of talk about and express. And it's adding these mock-ups and different ways from this original artwork to expand on a project. There's, particularly with I don't know if you're a student or you don't have that many clients, or you're building your client base and things like that. It's really important to expand from your project to make it look as big and as realistic as possible, and get as much value out of the work that you've put in as well. You've created this logo, you've created this brand, you've got your colors, you know what it is, there's a potentially a purpose, and there's a page dedicated to it on your website or in your Behance portfolio or wherever it is. And you could just stop at just having this image and maybe like one mock-up. But you can actually use those elements and very quickly, with not minimal effort, but an extra 10 or 20% of effort from creating the brand in the first place, and expand on that, and have multiple applications of how it might look. What does it look like as a bus ad? Like, what does it look like on the shelf? Of course, it's packaging. Point of sale. We spoke about that before. Like adding a sticker. It's for kids, so why not? Maybe there should be a sticker. That sort of thing. So you can get a lot more value out of your projects by thinking about this and reusing these elements, just like Jeremy is here. And it's good practice.
Yeah, it helps you sell your designs as well more, and it helps you stand out. Sometimes like I go on these freelance sites like Fiverr and stuff, and there's like the mock-ups, they use the same like some weird 3D stuff, and it's like not even realistic, like compared to like the type of brand it is or the business,
Yeah. It's an interesting question. We might have time for this. We've got about 5 minutes left. The question was, are you going to show the presentation aspect? I tend to struggle with layout for presentation in the design and project. I mean, we're not going to have time to export all of these and lay it out or all that. That's like a whole nother stream. But maybe you could show us a project on your website, or maybe we could have a look at example and just kind of chat through the presentation aspect of things.
Yeah. I'll see if I can quickly open. I'll show you a recent project I did.
Awesome.
So let's go round 1. Presentation, round 1. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see this. Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So this was for a YouTube channel that have over 1 million subscribers. You need a new logo. So this is like this was just for a logo project. So it's very simple. So recapping on like the values, the brand keywords, things we like, that we talked about in the discovery phase, brand personality sliders that helps us with the look and feel, recapping on the target user. And then so I'll go through the concept. So concept 1, bit of a mood board, and then go through the design. So as you can see this.
Right.
Black and white, show a bit of the logo, explain like the core parts of it, some type usage, then mock-up. So I'm actually mocking up on real, like a YouTube mock-up. And so you took some text, took similar images from what they use, and so put it in the left corner there, did a bit of the banner, beanie, so for some, if they want to do merch, the stickers, as you can see, I was talking about, the laptop.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so, yeah, it's just simple. This one's for smaller projects, just simple,
Yeah.
Another concept here. And then I reuse basically the same mock-ups because it's the same brand, right? Just swapping the logo out.
But look how much the mock-ups like bring this to life, right? Like imagine if you took out all of the mock-up pages. Yeah. Like it's very clean, but you can, and the other thing is clients get so excited about seeing their logo mocked up. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like especially like the beanie where it has the texture and everything like that.
Makes it different.
It's the sort of thing that really blows them away. And the stickers are cool. Like, everyone's got a laptop, imagine like a startup or, people that are at a cafe all the time. They're like, yeah, we're definitely doing stickers. Like they just get so excited about it, and you can be really fun about it, and you can add things to it. Like I doubt the client, maybe they did, but I doubt the client said, hey, we really want you to make a beanie out of this. But that's the sort of thing that they'll really remember. They'll be like, our logo looks so cool. I can't wait for winter. Like, anyway. Thanks for showing that. That was awesome.
No worries, my pleasure.
But yeah, that does wrap things up. So thanks, Pressler, on YouTube. Thanks for the question, because that's really cool to show. And thank you, Jeremy, for showing that extra like bonus piece of like presenting work. These have been a great 2 streams. If you guys missed the first one, jump onto our YouTube channel and check it out. It's been awesome hanging out with Jeremy, and there's lots of shortcuts. I always go on about shortcuts with Jeremy, but you got to like pause and slow it down and check it out. speed up your efficiency with your work. It's been really great.
Cool. Thanks for having me, dude. It was really fun, and yeah, hopefully people got something out of these mock-ups and learning. So yeah, super cool.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us on Adobe Live. We hope to have you back once again. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for Adobe Live. See you later.
Thanks, guys. See ya.